All right, here with Austin Dillon ahead of the Cookout 400 at Richmond Raceway this weekend. Austin, obviously a favorable spot for you coming back after your win here last year. Does that give you some added confidence, especially as you make a push for the playoffs?
Yeah, for sure. The last two races of the year, places that we've won at, so really excited about today and tomorrow. Hopefully we can put together a solid weekend, and would love to get back to victory lane. Obviously that would be the highlight of our season so far.
When you look back at last year and obviously the way things went down, how much of that have you thought about over the past year, or is that something that you just kind of shook off in the past? And
yeah, it's last year. We had a lot of races this year to try and do the same thing, a lot of different places, but I'm most excited about the speed that we had in this race, where we had driven out to a 3-second lead before the caution came out. I think another positive about that is the red tire. We were pretty solid on that, and that's the tire we're somewhat on here. Look back at some of the things that could have done differently on the restarts to try and better ourselves, and just hope that you get put in that same position again and can capitalize.
When you look at the last 2 weeks, obviously you had a top 15 at Watkins Glen. You ran really well at Iowa. Can you take anything from these last 2 weeks, especially Iowa, and transfer it over to what you have for this weekend?
Yeah, I think so. And the biggest thing is just being competitive and running up there with the guys that you want to race with. We feel like we get here at Richmond, we're going to be up front running with those guys. And from a pit stop perspective, from just a competition perspective, things race differently the further forward you get. And those experiences the last 2 weeks, especially in Iowa, will be good for Richmond.
Looking at Richmond, I mean, you've always kind of had a knack for this track, it feels like. How does one get around this track? What makes it really challenging for drivers?
Yeah, it's just one of those places that's odd. You kind of have to think differently, especially from daytime to night. I think that makes it very challenging going from the transition there. The rubber lays down, the track gets slick, and you got to take care of tires.
Moving forward, looking ahead at maybe a potential playoff push, how much of that have been in team talks, especially with Kyle over at in the 8 car? Have you been sharing a lot of information or looking over these next 2 weeks to be able to win your way into the playoffs?
We're doing everything we can as an organization. A big effort in the last 2 weeks to try and win and get ourselves in. That's where we're at. We got to do what we can, and they're good tracks overall for us.
At Richmond, obviously, tire wear is one of the hot topics. Do you feel like you're going to have a gauge on what that's like for the weekend? Do you think it'll be similar to last year?
I think it'll be similar to last year. They put a couple patches through 1 and 2, so if that wears a little bit more than what we're used to, it'd be interesting to see how that affects the racing. It's hard in that first group to really know what you're going to have from a tire wear perspective. The second group gets a little better shot at it here in practice, and we missed out by 1 spot. So we'll be listening and trying to learn as much as we can today.
With the playoffs, obviously we've been talking about trying to win your way. There's been a lot of debate about that here lately. Is there a playoff format that you prefer, or do you like what we have right now?
The playoff format's definitely been interesting, I think, for our sport. It creates drama each and every week, storylines. I think one thing I'd like to see in the playoffs is the drivers that aren't in the playoffs be eliminated from the playoffs. Meaning that, if you finish 10th and you're up against another playoff driver and they finish 15th, there's only a 1-point gap between there. The guys don't count as points in between.
From from outside of the racing perspective, you're general manager of the Carolina Cowboys. What is that like, and what is that perspective that you're able to get from kind of the front office standpoint and be able to transfer it over into the motorsports?
Just learning about the problems and the different things and the overall effort it takes to run an organization. It's there's a lot that goes into every little piece. Everybody's very important in their job and what they have to do, and just I love working with the athletes over there in the PBR, and it's been a lot of fun, and I've learned a lot.
Do you feel like there's maybe a potential down the road to use what you've learned and use it maybe in motorsports one day?
I think it's definitely an easy thing to roll into for sure after the experiences I've gained from PBR, but I'm still learning daily and yearly and just trying to grow as a human.
All right. Well, good luck to you as you make a race for the playoff spot, and good luck to you this week at Richmond.
Thanks, buddy.
My Place Hotels is proud to be the official hotel partner of Frontstretch. With plush beds, in-room kitchens, and pet-friendly hotels, My Place makes for the perfect pit stop when traveling. Frontstretch fans can use promo code Frontstretch to save 10% on your stay at any of our nationwide properties. Sign up for our Stay Rewarded program to get even more savings. With My Place Hotels, don't just stay, stay rewarded.
I'm Caleb Barnes with Frontstretch.com. Come back soon for more great racing videos, and if you like us, don't forget to hit the subscribe button.